Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video, and it's time to do the showcase for the third of the new units, the Protector Masked Hero Veiled Armaments. So this hero is unfortunately, in my opinion, fairly underwhelming. She doesn't do anything to really break the mold. She does do, a number of things, but I just don't think it's good enough for a half-anniversary team. So looking at her, she gives a damage buff to two different forces, which normally it's one, so I mean that's a plus. Spirit Master and Heart of a Hero. Extra damage to space. Magic characters get attack and defense 25%, and then she raises your skill cap every turn by 50, as most protectors do. She does have the new defensive supporting Divine Protection stat as well. So even at a single dupe, it is 3%. So I think regardless of where you pull a new protector at this point, they're going to have a 3% defensive buff attached to them, alongside the attack buff. However, the semicolon makes me believe that she gives defense to anybody, whereas charge-type magic is the only one that gets the attack. We'll have to see. Her protection skill stacks physical attack or magic attack. Now, this is the same physical and magic attack that Fount of Wisdom Rimuru gives for physical, or Visions of Coleus Violet for magic. It is not the big-time physical or magic damage buff that the new Blanc is giving, that doubles your damage. It's not that. But it is still a 20% stack, so 20, 40, 60, blah, 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 forever. And then she applies a special effect to specifically charge-type characters, which is a 30% heal for one turn, and an alt rush for 50%. And this could, save you in some cases. It will help rush your alt, because blues notoriously don't give you a lot of alt gauge. So this does help get alts quicker. And then she gives you extra skill points on blue orbs. So other than that, I mean, that's all she's doing. She's got the standard here, she's got a standard stack here. I mean, this is all the same as well. So the extra special thing she's doing is giving a damage to one extra team, and the Spirit Blessing, which, I mean, I could take it or leave it. So this is why I'm not too impressed with her, but let's test her out. Alright, let's have her lead her actual team. Belzard, Ritas, Leon. We're going to bring Elmesia and Violet both as support characters, but also to show what does and does not stack on this team, just so people can know in case they're new and they don't understand what I'm talking about. But, this team will work. This is only EX2, so it's not that difficult. Okay, so Ritas only changes Spirit Master orbs, which Elmesia and Violet are not on. So let's bring these two in, and then we can convert that. The plus of having this team is that we have 3 orb changers now. We have Ritas, we have Violet, and we have Leon. So we can pretty much get out of any scenario, because what Violet can change, she's at 2 oranges and a green, Leon can change anything, and then Ritas can change any 2. So here is either a good hand for Leon or a good hand for Violet. So we'll actually use Violet here, and we'll just do this because that's a perfect hand for her. And then let's turn the animation on, because I know that it's been used before today. So this is going to give us a 20% physical and magic attack. So she can lead any team, any character, because you're either physical or you're magic. And since she's buffing both, she doesn't care who you are. What she will care about is if you're a charge character, which Violet is also a charge character. So let's go ahead and use the Masked Hero. We'll watch her animation. It's fine. Kind of reminds me of Mash from Fate Go doing Lord Camelot, because she's just doing this. Not quite the same, but just reminds me of it. And then she makes a field of pretty flowers. Cool beans. And now what we have is we have the one-turn, passive healing effect that you would see from Frey, Sparkle of Youth, or the Earth Mirren, the continuous heal, or one of those characters that has a passive heal. It will give you a 30% heal for one turn. So at the end of this turn, whatever damage we take, we're going to heal back 30% of our full health. And then we also have, I should have stayed here, is the Vitalization effect, which is just a fancy word for saying at the end of the turn, you're going to get 50% alt gauge. It does not stack, though. So if you use the hero twice, it is just the same thing, because it specifically doesn't say in its effect that it would stack, so we just have one of those still. So we can turn this off now because we've already seen it, and we'll move on with our day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to have this much gauge for Leon, and that much gauge for Violet. But at the end of the turn, we're going to get 50% more alt gauge, which means that Leon is actually going to get his alt this turn, because he's only 25% away. So here's the heal, and then there's the free alt gauge. So Velzard got up there, we almost got an alt for Violet, and we got more than an alt for Leon. So that's how that's going to work. I guess we can just use Violet again. And then we'll bring Redis in. So that is 2 stacks of the physical / magic buff. So if we check Leon right now, he's got 45% magic attack. 5% extra than this one because the Protector Benimaru gives 5%. But essentially, we've gotten 2 stacks of 40% magic and physical. The physical buff doesn't matter because we're not a physical character, but the magic stack does. And when we're ready to nuke in a couple of turns, we'll show that a permanent buff and a temporary buff work together. Because Violet has a temporary 100% magic buff, and then the hero is putting on a permanent magic attack buff. Those will work. But Elmesia, who has a temporary alt damage buff alongside Leon's temporary alt buff, they will not work together. So I'm going to make a quick cut, and we'll come back to that turn. Okay, we are back. Let's put the final stack of the hero on everyone. And so let's take a look at this. We have magic attack, 205, so 200%. We've gotten 10 stacks, essentially. But that is a permanent buff. Violet has a temporary one-turn magic attack buff. So let's go ahead and apply that and look at Leon. And people would think, oh, that doesn't work together. But it does. Magic attack 205. Another 100% magic attack, because this is a one-turn temporary buff, whereas this magic buff is forever. But if we were to bring in Elmesia, and she's giving Earth and Fire allies 70% alt damage, and then we use Leon's buff, which is giving 111% alt damage to everybody, and then we look at Leon's skill, those do not work together, because they are both one-turn temporary buffs, and 111 is higher than 70. So temporary and permanent buffs will work together. Temporary will not work together. So we are overriding the 70 from Elmesia. We still get the 100% alt resistance down, which is good, because that's a totally different effect. But we are not going to magically have 188 or 181% alt damage because we used Elmesia. So let's go ahead and send Leon, and he'll kill here. Yeah, there we go. Cool. 18 million damage. And we crit, which we didn't actually want to crit. But that is Shizu. More skill points on blue orbs, permanent stacking magic and physical attack, and then the heal. So everyone was pretty much topped up this entire fight. Like, we did take damage, and then we healed it all back. So for people who are having difficulty clearing some stages, the hero will probably keep you alive, and she eliminates the need for bringing a dedicated healing unit like Trainee or Wind Lumi or something like that. Okay, we're going to take roughly the same team into Calamity, Conquest, Milim, a stage that people probably will have trouble with because Milim hits so damn hard. But with a 30% heal pretty much every turn, we should be okay, as long as she doesn't really decide to hate one person in particular. But we still have Redis and Leon and Velzard. This time we brought Diablo and the hero, because we can use any type of buff against Milim. It doesn't care. So we can use Aegis, Synergy, and Pierce at the same time. Okay, we actually got pretty lucky on our first turn. So we can just bring both of them in, and then we just have to use the Redis Orb Change instead of Leon's, and keep that in our back pocket. So Orb Change. Perfect. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to take some damage here, because Milim hits pretty hard, and we don't have the healing effect on quite yet. But we will be able to heal it back in some way, shape, or form. All right, that's a good second hand. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And we'll get a double stack here. Let's do the orb change here. We can't stun Milim and so like the stun strike doesn't matter. It doesn't run out at all. She just has 100% stun resistance for the entire fight. But the frostbite effect is still useful from Velzard, so we will take advantage of that. But here, let's get the stacks of attack, let's get the healing, let's get the ult gauge, so now Leon will have an ult, and Ritas will have an ult next turn. So that will work out pretty well. And then whatever damage we take here, we can heal it back. So in stages where you do find yourself dying a bit too quickly, the hero can save you. So yeah, 1, 2, and 3, and then, okay. So Velzard, not looking that great, but we heal back up to over half HP. And now we can either send her away, or leave her up front. Probably should send her away, but in the event that she doesn't get hit at all, then we can probably heal back, and Leon and Ritas are pretty well taken care of right now. So this is going fairly well. And obviously, once we get the EX ult for Leon, which I think we should get this turn, we can probably work on just nuking. Okay, cheeky counter. Unfortunate, but nothing we can't handle. And she's probably going to hit her like 4 times. No, 1, 2, 3. Oh, see, there you go. All right, so we're looking good. She came back from like 25% HP, now we're at 80%, 90% or something. And everyone is looking just fine. So, ult swap, orb change, boom. Boom, we do have the EX ult. So, let's actually bring in Diablo for Leon. And then we'll use the synergy buff now. Hold on to that for fun. And Diablo, since he's still a charge type character, he will also get the vitalization and the healing effect, which is good. And the next turn we'll probably bring in the other masked hero and use her buff as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I think, actually, next turn we have enough to nuke? 9, 18, 27... Yeah, because of... yeah. We should have exactly enough. We'd be like 5 points over or something. Alright, so the AoE, and then attack, and attack, and attack, and attack, and heal. Perfect. If we didn't have the heal, we would have been dead. We would have been dead a couple turns ago, unfortunately. But I think we have enough. So let's use the debuff, and then 1, 2, and 3. No, oh, actually, no, we don't have enough points. No, wait. We do. I'm terrible at math. We knew this, though. So, let's get you in here for Ritas, because you got too many orbs. We'll take Diablo out, since we've already used his buff. And then buff, and buff, and buff, and then 25 points to enhance the debuff, which is pretty much only the Aegis effect. Yeah, only the Aegis effect, but it is going to be upgraded by 30%, which is good. And then we'll give ourselves one more buff. So we've got 111, 111. Okay, perfect. And then Leon himself has 120%. So we got, what's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 6 stacks. Plus guaranteed synergy, plus guaranteed Aegis, plus guaranteed Pierce and Pierce power. And let's go ahead and hit you with this. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think you'll die. Those are at 540k. Cool. And then 1, 2, and how much does this 150 orb do? 1.1 million. And then Leon comes in with 19 million. Pretty good. Okay. Let's have the hero lead a different team now. Okay. In the maybe unlikely, maybe likely event that you have the hero, and you also managed to pull Blanc, and you received the 4 free dupes of Fount of Wisdom Rimuru, then we can still lead a physical team, because she's also giving a physical buff, which will stack alongside Rimuru's temporary physical buff. And then we've got Orb Change, Orb Change, Orb Change, and Orb Changing, so even though Blanc is technically going to be run on an orange team normally, we're going to make her the DPS character against Tempered Edge Veldora, because he's not that hard. He only has 1.7 million HP, and we can definitely do that with this team. And even though we're don't have any of the other new characters, we don't have Velzard, we don't have Leon, we only have physical units, doesn't really matter, because the hero is at least versatile enough to lead anybody. The only downside is that we're not getting that extra 25% attack and defense stats, because she only gives that to magic characters. So we're going to be slightly weaker here, but not by, that much. Let's bring you in for Guy, and then we'll bring Rimuru in, and let's use Rimuru's convert since it's cheaper than Guy's. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And because Veldora doesn't have that much HP, we don't have to go 8 turns for this, so I'm not going to just pre-record and voice it over. That's a hand. Is that a useful hand, though? Not... Yeah, not really. Can we do anything with that? We can't, because Guy can't change 2 oranges because he's not skill fused. Okay, well... and I also don't have Alba's skill fuse, so she can't change 3. Alright, well, we'll just do this anyway. Not... Oh, well, actually we can do this, huh? Let's do this convert. Okay, there we go. We got lucky there. And then we'll use Blanc. God, Blanc is good. And then we'll bring Guy in for Rimuru, and he can change those others because we have that. Perfect. And now we'll do some stacks. And even though we're not magic, we are still charge units, except for Blanc. So I also wanted to showcase that, is she is not a charge type character. So, she is a speed type character. So she does not get the vitalization or the healing factor. She does still get the physical buff, though, as you can see right here. But she's not going to heal, and she's not going to get free ult gauge. So, if you are building a team, if you want to take full advantage of the Masked Hero's skills, you're going to want to pay attention to what units you are bringing. Or ensure that at least your nuking character, or people who you're going to have up front a lot, are going to be charge focused. That way they can stay alive. And if they get an ult, well, then yeah, sure, cool. Okay, I mean, we're getting a lot of Blanc orbs, so that's a plus. So let's do this orb change, that orb change. The reason we brought Gobta is because he's available in the flashback shop, and he's a single target ult swapper, which does work for us. So let's do boom, and pierce resistance down, which helps because we are running a pierce unit, which is good. And then we'll bring Rimuru in, and we'll get this. So again, Rimuru and Albus will get the healing and will get the vitalization. Blanc will not, but Blanc will still get the physical attack stack, which is the most important thing. Veldora does have physical resistance, but we can kind of remove that with Rimuru. And so once we get her EX ult, we should be fine. That's an interesting hand. Okay, Albus, you're not useful here, so... we can't really actually convert that at all. Let's just send this, and we'll get an extra orange in here. Okay, so this will probably be the last clip. I know I didn't show her leading a dragon team, or sorry, a Heart of a Hero team, but it is just Masked Heroes, Hinata's. There's a Leon in there sometimes. It's not a super impressive team, so she can lead anything though. It's just that you're not going to get the extra damage. And here we're not getting extra damage anyways because we're not fighting a space enemy. And none of these characters are on those forces. So it's not that big of a deal still. Let's get Rimuru out of here. And let's do the Albus buff. Or Albus convert. And then we'll get her out of here. And then we can use Gobta's convert, because he's also Green Orb Changer, and the single target ult swap. Boom. And boom. More pierce down. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We almost have an EX ult for Blanc, so I think we're just going to go to turn 8. And he will lose the... I think he'll lose everything minus the crit resistance? Maybe? Alright, 1, 2. Perfect. And what's our hand look like? I think we have 2 oranges. Yeah, we do. Okay, so let's do the alt swap again. That way we know it's going to be Blanc's. And then let's bring Rimuru in for Gobta. And then we just have to use one orb change here, which is just his. Perfect. Alright. I think we can actually nuke next turn, because we're going to get the EX ult for Blanc. We don't want to crit, though. So, actually, we might nuke on turn... We might still nuke on turn 8, actually, because I want to use the guy buff without having block up front so that we don't get our damage nerfed down to the ground because of her crit resistance. Or his crit resistance, sorry. Okay. So Fountain Wisdom Reamer is free. Obviously, if you're playing right now, you have the free Diablo dupe. So you technically do have a blue stacking protector. So is it the most important thing for you to get the masked hero? No, it's not. But it is still helpful at the same time. So, because obviously the masked hero is a much newer character than Diablo, who came out in March of 2023, and now it's April of 2025. It's been a hot minute since it's been Diablo's time to shine. So, okay, we are maxed out on points. Cool, yeah, I don't really care about your damage. His defense and physical resistance is leaving. The crit resistance remains, so this is why we sent Blanc to the back, because we want to buff with Guy without having Blanc up front, because we don't want that crit rate. Okay, but, I mean, look at our damage. We haven't really taken anything. You can't even tell, barely, because we've been healing it all, mostly, with other characters. Let's use the Guy buff. Boom. The crit rate will be on the front line, but the ult damage is for everybody. So now if we bring Blanc in, she has that 80% ult damage, because it hits an orb, and that's an orb. So then we'll do 1 and 2 and 3. Boom, 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 and we will very easily kill this Veldora now. And we'll use one more stack of the hero, and that gets us up to a magical number of 180% physical attack, plus another 80% physical from Fountain Wisdom Rimuru. Again, the instance of a temporary buff and a permanent buff working together. So we're at 260%. 260% physical attack. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus a Dark Down and everything, and Blanc, yeah, we'll watch her because she's hot. This will kill Veldora. So I guess we'll just start the outro. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this Shizu. I think she is pretty basic. I think she's geared more towards newer players who don't have a true understanding of like more complicated protectors. Yeah, 2.2. It's not great damage, but it's enough. But she can lead anybody, so no matter who you pull, as long as you can make a somewhat decent team that makes sense as far as orbs are concerned, preferably blues, then the Shizu will work for you for most content, because she's doing pretty generic buffs that most people don't have defense against, and she'll keep you mostly healed and rushing your ult. So let me know what your thoughts are on this masked hero in the comments below, but that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.